Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, The Son of Drona Punished. We'll start with text 27. Please repeat after me. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Vethedam Drona Putrasya Brahmam Astram Pradarshitam Nevosho Vedas Samharam Pranabadha Upasthite. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Vethedam Drona Putrasya Brahmam Astram Padarshitam Nevesho Veda Sanharam Pranabadha Upasthite. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Vethedam Drona Putrasya Brahmam Astram Padarshitam Nevasho Veda Samharam Pranabadha Upasthite. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Vethedam Drona Putrasya Astram Pradarshitam Nevasho Veda Samharam Pranabadha Upasthite. Word to word. Shri Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Uvacha, said, Vetha, just know from me, Idam, this, Drona Putrasya, of the son of Drona, Brahmam Astram, hymns of the Brahma, nuclear weapon, Pradarshitam, exhibited, Na, not, Eva, even, Asho, he, Veda, know it, Samharam, retraction, Pranabadhe, extinction of life, Upasthite, being imminent. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, know from me that this is the act of the son of Drona. He has thrown the hymns of the nuclear energy brahmāstra, and he does not know how to retract the glare. He has helplessly done this, being afraid of imminent death. Purport. The brahmāstra is similar to the modern nuclear weapon manipulated by atomic energy. The atomic energy works wholly on total combustibility, and so the brahmāstra also acts. It creates an intolerable heat similar to atomic radiation. But the difference is that the atomic bomb is a gross type of nuclear weapon, whereas the brahmāstra is a subtle type of weapon produced by chanting hymns. It is a different science, and in the days gone by, such science was cultivated in the land of Bharatvarsha. The subtle science of chanting hymns is also material, but it has yet to be known by the modern material scientist. Subtle material science is not spiritual, but it has a direct relationship with the spiritual method, which is still subtler. A chanter of hymns knew how to apply the weapon as well as how to retract it. That was perfect knowledge. But the son of Dronacharya, who made use of this subtle science, did not know how to retract. He applied it, being afraid of his imminent death. and thus the practice was not only improper, but also irreligious. As the son of a Brahma, he should not have made so many mistakes, and for such gross negligence of duty, he was to be punished by the Lord himself. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadasi Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sarvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam, pangum langayate girim, yat kripatam aham vande, Shri Guru Padasharanam. So welcome to morning Bhagavatam class. We are reading from Canto 1, Chapter 7, Text 27. Before that, I'm seeking blessings from all the Vaishnavas present here. Please bless me so I can speak something worthwhile in glorification of Krishna. So we see that in the previous verses that how Ashwatthama invokes brahmāstra. A glaring light spreads in all directions, looking at which Arjuna gets really frightened, and he turns towards Krishna. And he offers his prayers towards Krishna. And, so in this situation we see when, Arjuna is overwhelmed, he learns from his past mistake past experience that when he was on the battlefield of Kurukshetra with Krishna, it was Krishna who helped him, who inspired him to fight. So he knew who to seek help from. And he, turned towards Krishna and he offers such beautiful prayers. Please repeat after me. In text 22, Arjuna says, Arjuna vacha Krishna Krishna Mahabhavo Bhaktanam Abhayankara Tvam meko dhayyamananam Apavarga Shisham Shrite. So, these prayers, it is a beautiful, expression of prayer that Arjuna is offering. That because he knows that, only Krishna can instill fearlessness in his devotees. Once when Prabhupada was asked, Prabhupada, what do you feel when you're chanting the Mahamantra? And Prabhupada said, I feel no fear. So, because that is the position of a pure devotee, he has no fear. There's a beautiful bhajan by Govindas, he says, Bhajaure mana Shri Nandanandana Abhaya Charanara Vrindare. That one who takes shelter of Krishna, there is no fear for him. That is the position of a pure devotee. So, what makes one fearless is only by Krishna's protection that makes us, fearless. So, how did Ashwatthama, though he was not qualified, we may wonder, how did he get this weapon? He was not qualified because clearly we can see he just to save his life, he just retracted a weapon that is so powerful. It is said that this weapon had a power to destroy the entire cosmic manifestation. So not only this planet, but upper planets, lower planets. It had the power to destroy all the planets. So there's a story behind this. How did he get this weapon? So when Kauravas and Pandavas, they were getting this training from Dronacharya. So Dronacharya he was a trainer in teaching the art of weapons, and he was quite renowned that time. So Bhishma approached Dronacharya to, give these boys training, Kauravas and Pandavas, the training to, how to use the weapons. And then, they were studying together in that Gurukul. And Ashwatthama, who was son of Dronacharya, happened to be there, and he was also learning this art of, using weapons. So what happened was that because Arjuna was, since childhood, he was very focused. So Dronacharya was so pleased with Arjuna that this boy is so amazing. He does so many good things. So he bestowed upon him brahmāstras. Brahmāstras is a powerful weapon that is equivalent to brahmāstra. Now, when Ashwatthama got to know this, that his father has bestowed upon him, bestowed Arjuna, with the brahmāstras, he got so upset with his father that, you did not give me anything. And he made him feel so guilty that out of material attachments, without thinking, Dronacharya, gave him that, bestowed upon him as well, the brahmāstra. So we see here that out of material attachments, this Dronacharya, without thinking, he just gave him away. There's a story, which Viraj Krishna Prabhu talks about, that, there's a rich son and a father. So a rich son has, rich father and a son. So rich father has, he's about to retire, and he's asking his son that I'm going to give this property and all this wealth of mine to you. You'll have this in inheritance. And the son says, oh wow, wonderful. But then on one condition, father says that you have to go out and find some work, and at the end of 30 days, come back with some money, whatever Lakshmi you get, and then I can give you this. And then the son thought, why do I have to work when I'm going to, anyways inherit all this property? Why do I have to work? So he just borrows money from his friend and gives it to his father. And then the father is, recklessly takes this and just puts the money in the fire pit. And the son did not move an inch because it was not his hard-earned money. So it did not, affect him in any way. So the father could understand that this is because this is not his hard-earned money. So he's being patient with his son, and he's saying, okay, I'll give you another chance. Go back and find some work and come back with Lakshmi. Second time, same thing happens. The father he gets the money from someone, he puts the money in the fire, and, the son is not affected. This time the father gets really serious. He says that, my dear son, if now this time I'm giving you the warning, if you don't, get serious this time and, give this money, get the money from actually working, I would actually give all this empire to a charity organization. So the son gets really serious. He's like, oh, now my father is serious. He is actually going to give this, all this empire that I want to inherit it. He wants to give it to a charity. So he started finding work, and he actually finds work. And at the end of 30 days, he comes back with, whatever money he earned, and he gives it to his father. And the same thing father does this time. He puts the money in the fire pot. But this time, the son gets so upset. He started collecting the money, without thinking. He started shouting at his father, and he started collecting money from the fire, without thinking that he could burn his hand. So this time, father understood that, that he has, earned this money. This is his hard-earned money. So similarly, but in Dronacharya's case, we see that he does not see that whether his son is qualified or not. Just because out of his material attachments, he just gives that away to his son like that, without thinking that if he'll be able to will be able to use that in a better way in the service of Krishna. I remember when growing up, I actually stood third in my class in grade 3, and my father was very happy and he bought me a watch. At that time, it was a 300 rupees watch. But that memory stayed with me because I worked hard and my father gave me that. So in those days, we used to be, and now I realize that, because I worked hard, I got that. It was not like, okay, I inherited it and, my father can afford it, so he just gave it to me like that. He could have given it to me like that also, but, there was a reason he wanted to justify that. But in Dronacharya's case, we see that he just, out of his attachment, he just gives it away. So, and then, it is said that Ashwatthama acted very impulsively. Why? Without knowing the consequences, what will happen. So there's a purport given in Madhvacharya book. He has written a book on Mahabharata, which is called Tatparya Nirnaya book. And he writes purport in this verse that Ashwatthama could not retract the brahmāstra because there is a history behind this. There's an incident that had happened before. So what had happened when Ashwatthama killed all the sons of Draupadi, 5 sons of Draupadi, what had happened that he got those, heads of 5 sons to Duryodhana. And Duryodhana was not very happy with that. He was very upset. Why did this happen? Why did you do this? So he knew now that his dynasty is finished. There's nobody who would be able to, carry forward his dynasty. So what he does is, he actually tells Ashwatthama that, now, because to continue my dynasty, you can procreate through my wife and continue the progeny. So when Duryodhana gives this suggestion, mentally Ashwatthama agrees to this proposal, even for a few moments. And because of this sinful desire, Madhvacharya says he did not have the power to retract the brahmāstra. And on the other hand, when Arjuna went to heavenly planets to, get all the blessings from the demigods before the war, what had happened was Urvashi, the Apsara in the heavenly planets, approached him to get intimate association with him. But Arjuna, and it was in heavenly planets, so there are no karmas or, to enjoy. He could have easily enjoyed with her, but Arjuna had the power to say no. And even in the mind, Arjuna was not thinking, he did not think ill of her. He actually gave her the position of a mother. It was not that he was thinking, I'm saying no to your face, but mentally I'm thinking, I want to enjoy. No, it wasn't like that. It was not like that. He actually had the power to say no. And because of that, because of his sense control, he was able to retract the brahmāstra. And of course, this is one of the reasons that he was able to retract. But, we know that Krishna was with him. So, he had all the power, with him. So, Srimad Madhvacharya gives a purport that when a person practices sense control, he has great power. And then he can act in a way that can balance out all the evil forces. Therefore, it's very important to, practice sense control. The first verse of Nectar of Instruction, says, Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam jiva vegam mudaropashta vegam etan vegan yo visheta dhira sarvam apimam prithvim sashishyat. So, a sober person can tolerate the urge to speak. It's very easy to speak. When we are angry, it's so easy to shout. But what is difficult is to restrain it. So, Prabhupada gives a beautiful, translation to this verse, Vacho Vegam, that a sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger and the urges of the tongue, belly and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. So, pure devotees, sorry, they are so expert in controlling their senses. Prabhupada once was, he had cut his finger. He was cutting a fruit and he had cut his finger. So the disciple asked, "Oh, Prabhupada, you had cut your finger. It must be paining a lot." And Prabhupada said, "No, that's okay. My hand should have been cut, but Krishna is so kind that he had just cut my finger a little bit." So, we see that how it was not that, he made a hoo-ha about it, that, I got hurt or something. No, he was practicing sense control. At the age of 70, he did miracles that we can't even do. We can't even think of doing at age of 25 or 30. Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his bhajan, O Hey Vaishnav Thakur, he writes the qualities of a pure devotee. And he writes, in one of the verses he writes, Chaya bega domi, chaya dosha shodhi, chaya guna dehu dase. Chaya satsange deho he amare, bosechi sange rashe. So what that means is chaya bega domi, chaya dosha shodhi, that, O Vaishnav Thakur, O pure devotee, teach me to control my 6 passions, rectify my 6 faults, bestow upon me the 6 qualities, and offer me unto the 6 kinds of holy association. So the 6 passions, it is said that they are related to the words, mind, anger, tongue, the stomach, and the genitals. The 6 faults are overeating. So, this verse actually basically is describing the whole nectar of instruction. Nectar of instruction, Srila Rupa Gosvāmī gives, how once we have to control the senses, then what things we have to avoid. We have to avoid overeating. We have to, avoid attachment to material things. Not being able to avoid sense gratification, useless talks, impure habits. And so only, pure devotees can give us this. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur prays for this, these qualities. So, in this verse, Prabhupada writes that that the son of, as a son of Brahmana, he should not have made so many mistakes. So clearly we see that the birth of a Brahmana in a Brahmana family does not guarantee a person to behave in a Brahmanical way, right? Prabhupada, because of the mercy of Prabhupada, we see so many people got the mercy and they became, they didn't even hear the name of Krishna, but they are chanting, they are worshipping the deities. It's because of the Prabhupada, he had that conviction in the process of Krishna consciousness. That Prabhupada, right from the morning, we'd start with, Samsara Davan, Guru Ashtakam. We start offering prayers, then we do Tulsi Arati, we chant our own japa. This all, it acts as an immunity to the material world, so that we are prepared to take on all the challenges, and that's what makes us come to the level of goodness. Otherwise, and even pure goodness. Otherwise, how would we have the power to, we don't have qualification or power to do anything by our own self. It's the mercy of Prabhupada and Gurudev, that this process. So, we hear Srīmad Bhāgavatam. There's a very beautiful verse in Canto 1, Chapter 2, which says, Shrinvatam swakatha Krishna punya shavana kirtana hridayanti stuva bhadrani vidunoti sruhatsitam. Which means that Shrinvatam swakatha Krishna. Shrinvatam means people who have developed the urge to hear Krishna Katha. And only they have the power to, because Krishna, when we have developed that urge to hear Krishna Katha, Krishna actually, cleans our heart. He cleanses all the material desires that we have, and he makes us pure. So in this verse, Prabhupada speaks about of how atom bomb as a gross nuclear weapon, and brahmāstra is subtle, but it is heard by sound. But both are material. So subtle science of chanting is not known by modern material scientists. So we see here that Prabhupada is saying that scientists don't know everything. If we see that there is an example of Malaysian Airlines that was 10 years back or something, that there was a big Malaysian airline like a 747 Boeing, and it got disappeared. And it's been 10 years, they are still trying to find that airline. So clearly scientists, there's no trace of that, even the trace of that flight being in the ocean. They have done all the research. They have spent millions of dollars in search of that flight, but they are unable to find it. So clearly we see that, how limited, the material science is. So in verse 27, we see that when Arjuna approaches Krishna, that, Krishna, what has happened? How is this dangerous effulgence spreading? Then Krishna provides the solution, right? He diagnoses the problem, that this is what this is the act of son of Drona. So he diagnoses this problem. And then in the next verse, in verse 28, Krishna provides a solution. So we'll move on to next 28. Please repeat after me. Nahe ashyayatamam kinchid Ashtram pratyavakarshanam Jahi ashtra tejav unnadham Astragnau he astra tejasa. Na, not. He, certainly. Asya, of it. Anyatamam, other. Kinchit, anything. Astram, weapon. Prati, counter. Avakarshanam, reactionary. Jahi, subdue it. Astrateja, the glare of this weapon. Unnadham, very powerful. Astragyana, expert in material science. He, as a matter of fact. Astratejasa, by the influence of your weapon. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation: O Arjuna, only another brahmāstra can counteract this weapon. Since you are expert in the military science, subdue this weapon's glare with the power of your own weapon. Purport: for the atomic bomb, there is no counter weapon to neutralize the effects. But by subtle science, the action of a brahmāstra can be counteracted. And those who were expert in the military science in those days could counteract the brahmāstra. The son of Dronacharya did not know the art of counteracting the weapon. And therefore Arjuna was asked to counteract it by the power of his own weapon. So in verse 28, we see that Krishna is, asking Arjuna to counteract this weapon only by releasing another weapon. So counteraction is a military science. Samaveda, Yajurveda, Atharva Veda, and similarly Dhanur Veda. There is this Veda. So Veda is actually having all the solutions to our problems. So Dhanur Veda is the art of military science. How to utilize Dhanu. Dhanu means bow and arrow. So similarly we have Ayurveda, that protects the ayu of a living being, because this human body is perishable. So Krishna has also given us Ayurveda. So we see that in Vedic knowledge, everything is there to guide the human society, to bring us to the next platform, bring us to the next level where we can serve Krishna nicely. In Srīmad Bhāgavatam, in Vedas are described as Nigama Kalpatarur Galitam Phalam. Nigama Kalpataru Galitam Phalam. Nigama means Vedas. and Kalpataru means desire trees. So Vedas, they actually have everything in them, and it's the desire trees, so they can give us everything provided we use that in the service of Krishna. So we see here that the same military science used by Ashwatthama was to harm others, was to destroy others. Without thinking, he did not give it a thought that what would happen to, the living entities. He just wanted to save himself from that situation. He just, retracted, he just released that weapon. And then, while on the other case, Arjuna, he used that same military science for protecting others, because he could see that this glare is going to destroy the whole universes. So he used that particular science to provide. So Vedas, provided we use the Vedas in the right way, the Vedas actually they have problems to all our solutions. Yeah? So this is a short verse. So we move on to the next verse, text 29. Does anybody want to recite text 29? Text 29. Sūta Vacha Śrutva Bhagavata Proktam Falguna Paraviraha Can you read the translation of that?
Śrī Sūta Gosvāmī said, hearing this from the personality of Godhead, Arjuna touched water for purification, and after circumambulating Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa, he cast his brahmāstra weapon to counteract the other one.
So we'll read all these 4 verses, 29, 30, 31, 32 together, and then we will discuss. So I'll read the text 30. Samhatyanyonyam ubhayos Tejasi sara samvrite Avritya rodasi khamcha Vavridhatte raka vavanat. Samhatya by combination of, Anyonyam, one another, Ubhayo, of both, Tejasi, the glares, Sara, weapons, Samvrite, covering, Avritya, covering, Rodasi, the complete firmament, Khamcha, outer space also, Vavridate, increasing, Arka, the sun globe, Vanivat, like fire. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. When the rays of the two brahmāstra combined, a great circle of fire, like the disk of the sun, covered all outer space and the whole firmament of planets. Purport: the heat created by the flash of a brahmāstra resembles the fire exhibited in the sun globe at the time of cosmic annihilation. The radiation of atomic energy is very insignificant in comparison to the heat produced by a brahmāstra. The atomic bomb explosion can at most blow up one globe, but the heat produced by the brahmāstra can destroy the whole cosmic situation. The comparison is therefore made to the heat at the time of annihilation. We'll move on to text 31 and 32, and then we will discuss. Text 31. Dhritvashtra tejastotayos Trilokan pradahan mahat Dhyamana praja sarva Samvartakam amamshata. Drishtva, thus seeing, Astra, weapon, tejaha, heat, tu, pat, tayo, of both, trin, three, lokan, planets, pradahat, blazing, mahat, severely, dahyamanaha, burning, praja, population, sharva, all over, samvartakam, the name of the fire which devastates during the annihilation of the universe, amamshata, began to think. Can someone want to read translation and purport, please?
All the population, may I?
Yes, bro.
All the population of three worlds was scorched by the combined heat of the weapons. Everyone was reminded of the Samvartika fire which takes place at the time of annihilation. The three worlds are upper, lower and intermediate planets of the universe. Although the brahmāstra was released on this earth, the heat produced by the combination of both weapons covered all the universe, and all the population on all the different planets began to feel the heat excessively and compared it to that of Samvartaka fire. No mood, but Arjuna's eyes were like
No planet.
pause. No planet, therefore, is without living beings, as less intelligence, materialistic men think.
Text 32. Prajopadravam alakasya lokavyatikaram charam matam cha vasudevasya sanjahara Arjuna dvayayam. Praja, the people in general, upadravam, disturbance, alaksya, having seen it, loka, the planets, vyatikaram, destruction, cha, also, tam, that, matam cha, and the opinion, vasudevasya, of Vasudev, Śrī Kṛṣṇa, sanjahara, retracted, Arjuna, Arjun, dvayam, both the weapons. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. Thus seeing the disturbance of the general populace and the imminent destruction of the planets, Arjuna at once retracted both brahmāstra weapons as Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa desired. Anybody wants to read the purport? Yes, please.
The theory that the modern atomic bomb explosions can annihilate the world is childish imagination. First of all, the atomic energy is not powerful enough to destroy the world. And secondly, ultimately it all rests on the supreme will of the Supreme Lord, because without His will or sanction, nothing can be built up or destroyed. It is foolish also to think that natural laws are ultimately powerful. Material nature's law works under the direction of the Lord, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. The Lord says that natural laws work under His supervision. The world can be destroyed only by the will of the Lord and not by the whims of tiny politicians. Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa desired that the weapons released by both Droṇa and Arjuna be withdrawn. It was carried out by Arjuna at once. Similarly, there are many agents of the all-powerful Lord, and by His will only can one execute what He desires.
I'll read the translation again. Thus seeing the disturbances of the general populace and the imminent destruction of the planets, Arjuna at once retracted both brahmāstra weapons as Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa desired. So here we see that the carelessness of Ashwathama, is actually he released the weapon without having any understanding of what will happen. But before that, I just want to discuss the title of the chapter. Why do you think this title of the chapter is entitled as the son of Drona punished and not Ashwatthama punished? They could have said, Prabhupada could have easily said that Ashwatthama punished.
I think it is because it's a mistake done by the Dronacharya to
Yes.
the teaching of brahmāstra. Is it because of that?
It could be one of the reasons, but we are basically, it is said that a person is known by his connection with someone who is more famous. So Dronacharya was more famous as a teacher of Pandavas and Kauravas. And, so similarly, even Prabhupada used to say that a disciple represents spiritual master. So when a disciple is doing something to glorify Krishna, to glorify his spiritual master, the glories of the spiritual master increases, right? Guru Puja, we say, Ebe Yasha Gushu Tribhuvana, that when the disciple is glorifying the spiritual master, glorifying Krishna, his glories increases across the three worlds. And when the same disciple is not doing, that brings defame to infamy to the Guru. So Prabhupada is conveying a very important message, by this title, that we have to act according to our legacy, the family that we belong to. We all belong to Prabhupada family. So, and I was here. At this point was given by Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. He mentioned that why this title was not. Prabhupada could have easily said Ashwatthama punished, but who knows Ashwatthama? And also one of the reasons that, and like Mataji said that Dronacharya, because he did not think. So when Ashwatthama did an abominable act like that, so the blame, or by law of karma, does go to him, but also the blame goes equally to his father, because he did not think before giving it. In Bhāgavatam there's a verse that one should not become a spiritual master, a father, a mother, a teacher, if they cannot deliver their, offsprings or dependents from the cycle of birth and death. And Dronacharya clearly did not think so. Yeah, that's one of the reasons as well. So we see that, in these 4 verses that we cover, that brahmāstra released, and all the cosmic situations. So all the, it says in text 30 that Dhayyamana Praja Sarva. Dhayyamana means burning Praja Sarva. All the 3 worlds, all the population of the 3 worlds, all the inhabitants of the 3 worlds, they were disturbed. They were disturbed by this, Dhayyamana. They were very fearful, and so in that case, Arjuna approached Krishna, and Krishna told him that now you, retract another weapon. So Arjuna had forgotten that he knows how the act of, he knows how to, release this weapon, brahmāstra. So Krishna gives him the intelligence that, Arjuna, you are capable of releasing another weapon. So he gives him a solution that now you have to retract this weapon, you have to create another weapon, you have to release another weapon. So the knowledge was already there with Arjuna, but Krishna reminded him. Why did he remind him? Because Arjuna approached Krishna. So, eternally, even every living entity, each one of us has the knowledge in our heart, within our heart, this transcendental knowledge. But, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 15.15 that Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivisto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. That this knowledge, I'm seated as in the heart of the living entities with all this knowledge. But because of the material influence, we forget this. We forget our, true identity, that we are eternal. We are Satchit Ananda. We are full of bliss. We are full of knowledge, and we are eternal. So, and who reminds us that? It's like the material nature is so powerful, that it can bewilder anyone. There's so many examples that in the Shastras we find that people are trying to please the Lord, but they get distracted. When Gokuleshwar Prabhu was here, he said that, it's like an example of an ant. An ant is trying to cross from one point to another point. But then in the middle, she finds, some pieces of bread or some pieces of, sugar, tiny. And then she starts to collect that. And then she deviates. And that's what is happening. We came to this material world and we tried to, we thought, no, Krishna, we'll come back soon. But we came to this material world, and in the womb also, in the prayers of the unchild born, Prabhupada writes beautifully that in the womb of the mother, the child is praying that, Krishna, please let me get out of this situation, because this, the womb is not a comfortable situation to be in. I promise I get out and I'll pray to you. But what happens is the child clearly gets distracted. He's he's the center of attraction for his parents, and he just forgets what he was. He starts to think that I am this baby. He starts to think that I am, when he goes to youth, I'm this youth. I'm this teenager. I'm this, married person. I'm this father and this mother. And clearly, we get distracted. So material nature is so powerful. Devi esha he gunmai, mama maya duratyaya. Krishna says that my material energy is so powerful, my dear Arjun, that it's so difficult to overcome. But only when you take shelter, when you take shelter of me, then I can deliver you from this ignorance. And I can place you, in your constitutional position. It's like an example of, when we are dreaming. So, we get nice dreams, but we also get sometimes terrible dreams. And we are just so stuck up in the dream. We are unable to help ourselves, right? Because we are in the dream, it's not real. And what's the only solution to get out of that dream is to wake up. And only then we realize, oh, we are not in danger. Talking about this dream, I actually, in the morning, I had a dream that I had forgotten to come to this class. And I was thinking, oh no, when I was just preparing for this class yesterday, I just, this example of dream struck, and I was like, oh yeah, and then in the morning I had this dream, I was like, oh no. And then when I woke up, I was like, oh no. So I could realize that, this is actually true. When we are in the dream, we are unable to help ourselves totally. But how can, Krishna help us in the state? When we have the desire to, to come out of that dream. As long as we are comfortable in this, slumber, as long as we are comfortable in this situation, Krishna would be like, why to disturb you? It is said that Maya also doesn't trouble people who are already, materialistic. So because they are already sitting in the lap of Maya. It's the devotees who, Maya test, because, they are trying to, now they get serious. Oh, no, this is not the path I have to take. I have to take the other way around. So, Maya tries to test us. But like Krishna says here that, mama maya duratyaya, only by when you try to take my shelter, then I try to remind you that this is your spiritual nature. And of course, as devotees of Krishna, representatives of Krishna also, they help us help us coming out of that slumber. We all are here because of the mercy of devotees. Someone told us there is this, ISKCON temple, there's this, that, we practice Krishna consciousness here. So please, come. And when we came here, we liked it. And that's how we are, we keep coming. So waking up simply means that we are remembering our actual identity. And we cease to identify ourselves with this illusory form, that I'm this mother or I am this. If these positions that we have in the material world are bringing us closer to the Krishna, are bringing us closer to Krishna, then definitely those material positions are also spiritual. But if we forget our identity, that Krishna says that in Chaitanya Charitamrita that once you forget Krishna, there are two birds in the, like in the heart there is soul and super soul. So the Prabhupada gives the analogy of two birds sitting on a branch of tree. One is Krishna, one is me. I am trying to find happiness. Where is happiness? Where can I find happiness? And Krishna is standing right beside us, and he's waiting for us to turn towards him. But, because of our material entanglements, we forget that Krishna is there. And why is that we are forgetting this, that we are our constitutional position is Jivera Swarupa Hoye, Krishnera Nityadas. Why do we forget this? Because we identify ourselves with these material elements, with this earth, water. In Bhagavad Gita 8.16, I think Krishna says, Bhumir apu nalo vayu kam mano buddhir evacha ahankara iti yamme binna prakriti ashtada. That the gross and the subtle elements, we start to identify with them. We start to identify, but unless, Krishna or his representatives come to us to wake us up, Jeev chago, Gaura Chandra bole, Kota nidra jao maya, Pishachira khole. That we have been sleeping in, Lord Chaitanya says that we have been sleeping in the lap of Maya for so many lifetimes. Oh, my dear, sleeping soul, wake up, wake up. But, Krishna says that once we surrender to Krishna, when we beg for that mercy from Krishna, that Krishna, I want to wake up, I want to take this path of Krishna, then Krishna sends us all the help that is needed for our purification. So, Arjuna receives these directions from Krishna that, now you have to release another weapon to counteract this weapon. So Krishna is telling him that you have the power to create an equally dynamic brahmāstra that can counteract this. So what does Arjuna do? In text 29 we see that Arjuna first tries to touch the water for purification, and then after circumambulating Lord Krishna, he casts his brahmāstra weapon. So imagine Arjuna is in such a predicament. It's such a difficult situation, isn't it? You are in the middle of a war. There's a brahmāstra coming at full speed trying to kill you and the entire cosmic manifestation. But what does Arjuna do? He tries to purify himself by touching water. In the practical world today, you may think, why was that needed? He could have easily, if he got the instruction, he could have easily done this and then, But Arjuna, why he did it? He did that because he knew the importance of this purification. He got this instruction. He was not doing this as an act of military combat to show that I know this act of military. No, he was doing this as a service to Krishna. Because Krishna's desire was to release this weapon, and Arjuna did that as an act of devotion towards Krishna. So similarly, even in our occupational duties, when we have different jobs, we are a mother, we are housewives, we are doing so many occupational duties during the whole day. Radhanath Maharaj says that even our occupational duties should not start without attempting the process of purification. This process of purification every day. And what is the process of purification for us? What is that process of purification for us?
Chanting.
Yes, that process of purification for us is chanting. That comes through Guru Parampara. We make this process of Guru Parampara is so powerful that it immunes us. It kind of acts as a vaccine to any disease. We start our day. It is said that Ado Guru Pada Shraya, that we start our day with taking shelter of our Guru, and we start chanting. We take his permission that Krishna, dear Gurudev, I am chanting these rounds as a service to you, for your pleasure, for Krishna's pleasure. And when we do that, what happens is when we we start chanting our japa, we worship the deities, we perform arti, we offer bhoga. And only then when we perform these occupational duties, we can actually offer them as a service to the Lord. So everything then that becomes as an offering to the Lord. My Guru Maharaj used to say that when you wake up in the morning, you should actually offer the obeisances and offer your whole day to me or to Krishna. Saying that, oh my dear Lord, oh my dear Krishna, dear Prabhupada, I want to offer this day to you. And then, when we are doing those activities during the day, that memory will automatically come. Krishna says, from me comes knowledge, remembrance. Krishna will remind us then, oh, how are you serving me here? How are you serving me here, there, in the act? Because we are, anything that we do there, then we are offering that as an act to Krishna, but with love. That is more important. So, Arjuna is taking these blessings from Krishna, right? In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writes, before writing Chaitanya Charitamrita, he takes the blessings of the saints. He writes, Durgame pati me andhasya skalat pada gater muhu swa kripa yastidanena shantu shantu avalambanam. That, oh my dear Lord, my path is difficult. My feet, Durgame pati, my path is very difficult. Pati me andhasya, on top of that, I'm blind. Skalat pata gater muhu, my feet are slipping. And only by the stick of the mercy of the Vaishnavas that I'll be able to cross this path of material nations. So he takes blessings. So, how it's so important to take, blessings at the start of our day. And that's what Arjuna does. But, some people may say that, oh, they don't have time to worship Krishna in the morning or to chant their rounds in the morning. We all have, different... how are we running with time? Sorry, let's wait for time. Okay, 5 minutes more. Is that okay? Some people say that they don't have time to worship in the morning, or they're running late because they have very important appointments. But do you think anything is more important than being in the situation that Arjuna was in? How critical the situation was in Arjuna's life. He had a brahmāstra flying on him, trying to kill him, but he's still taking that time out to offer his obeisances, to touch water for purification, to circumambulate Krishna. If Arjuna can take out time in such a critical situation, I'm sure we can also take out some time. If not 16, we can start with whatever little we can in the morning. So Prabhupada is explaining in the next, in the verse 30, that when two brahmāstra combine, such a great circle of fire like the disk of the sun, that the heat of the sun was dahyamanam praja sarva, that the heat of the sun was troubling all the inhabitants of the three worlds. So it is said that at the time of cosmic annihilation, the samvartaka fire the sun increases its temperature 12 times. So imagine, I come from Rajasthan, so I was talking to my mom the other day, and she said, the temperature here is 49 degrees. I was like, wow, 49 degrees. So imagine at the time of cosmic annihilation, the temperature increases 12 times. So what would be the condition of the souls there? And that's what they were reminded of. The heat was intense. And then what happens? After that Samvartaka fire, there is massive flood. Because of that heat, then there's massive flood. And what happens at the time of annihilation? Each and every, whole earth is covered under water. And the whole earth becomes a massive ocean at the time of annihilation. So, then Prabhupada says that the heat produced by the brahmāstra could destroy the whole cosmic situation. That this comparison therefore made to the heat at the time of annihilation. So we see here that brahmāstra could destroy, the heat of the brahmāstra was so intense, it was 12 times more the temperature that we, so the material elements, if we see, they are so powerful, right? And these material elements are working under Krishna's direction. So imagine, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Maya dakshina prakriti suyate sa characharam hetu nanena kaunteya jagad vipari vartate. That this material world is working under my direction, oh my dear Arjuna. And what happens is, imagine if Krishna says, oh, material energy, just, low down this heat of the sun today. So imagine we would just freeze, wouldn't we? And then so these material elements, there's such a proper balance that Krishna is maintaining, and there's one person who's maintaining everything alone. He's managing not only this universe, there's multiple, millions and trillions of other universes. And imagine if he just does, oh no. So we are all dependent. Why am I talking about this? Because we are all dependent on Krishna's mercy. If Krishna, we starts to think that, oh, this is I am doing it. In verse 32, Prabhupada is saying that, beautifully he says that, the theory that the modern atomic bomb explosion can annihilate the world is childish imagination. Why does he say that? Because Krishna says, Prabhupada says that without the supreme will of the Supreme Lord, if Krishna does not sanction, nobody has the power to destroy it. Right? We are all dependent on Krishna's mercy. We cannot protect ourselves, but we start to think, Krishna lets us think, it's like if my daughter is attached to making cookies or something like that, I'll give her a kitchen, right? You can, make cookies or do cooking in your own kitchen, in a toy kitchen. It's like that. So Krishna allows us to be in that, okay, if you want to think that you are the doer, okay, he allows us because of our free will. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Prakriti kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasaha ahankara vimudatma karta ham iti manyate. Karta ham iti manyate. Because of ahankar, we starts to think that we are the doers. But that's not the case. The spirit soul, it says, the translation of this verse is, the spirit soul is bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of the activities that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature. There's a pastime of Prabhupada, where Prabhupada is asking, he meets a glass manufacturer. So Prabhupada is asking him, so what do you do for a living? He said, oh, I manufacture these glasses, the glass. I have a factory manufacture. And then Prabhupada asked him, so where do you get everything from? Oh, I borrowed money from somewhere and I started this business. Prabhupada, yeah, I know that, but how did you get the raw material? Where did you get the raw material from? He said, oh, that raw material is sand, it's there. It's there in the nature. And Prabhupada asked him, so who provided that to the nature? And he says, oh, it's Krishna. So you are stealing. You think that, you are manufacturing, but you are not manufacturing. Where do you get the ingredients from? It's from Krishna. So it's a beautiful pastime, Prabhupada is slashing our, ego, our false ego, that we think that we are the doers. Even in case of, a mother in the womb of a child in the womb of the mother, how does, there's a seed that's transferred from, a man to a woman. But who gives that seed? It's Krishna. Aham bija prajapati. Krishna is the seed-giving father of all the living entities. And when we say that, a child is in the womb, how does the child gets the eyes, the legs, the hands? It's a perfect baby when it's born. It's only because of Krishna's, energy that's working inside the womb. It's protecting the baby inside. We understand here that, Krishna is giving us all the ability to perform any little thing, any little task that we are able to do, provided that we understand our constitutional position as a soul, we will always be in the right frame of mind. We'll always be situated in as a Krishnera Swarupa Hoye Jivera Nityadas, that I am the servant of Krishna, and Krishna has given me everything. As a spirit soul, we are also Anandamaya Bhasat. What is that? What does that mean? That we are always seeking pleasure. We are always seeking Anand. We want that pleasure. And where would we get that pleasure? Yes, it's only from Krishna. Prabhupada gives this analogy that we are trying to find pleasure in desert. In desert, we are like deserts, and if we get a drop of water, would that satisfy us? No. We will be satisfied by an ocean, and that's what Krishna is for us. I just want to finish this last prayer from Lord Brahma's prayers. He says, Shamma Shritamya Padapallava Plavam Mahat Padam Punya Yasho Murari Bhavam Budhir Vatsa Padam Param Padam 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 Yat Vipadam Natesham. That this Vatsa Padam, that the pleasure that we get here is compared to the calf's hoof prints, the water that is contained in the calf's hoof. So that's the pleasure that we get here in the material world. But those who have taken shelter of Krishna, they don't want to, they are only satisfied by Krishna's lotus feet. They're only satisfied when they go back home, back to Godhead. So we should just, organize our lives in a way that we can, remember Krishna and always not forget Krishna. So that's the principle. Anything that we do, if we are able to remember Krishna and never forget Krishna, that's the success of our life. In the end, I just want to end with this. Krishna says here, Prabhupada says here, translates that Dhayyamana Praja Sarva. So if we don't want to burn in this ocean of material existence, we have to seek pleasure in Krishna's pastimes, in Krishna's lotus feet. And that's what we are doing here, taking shelter of Srīmad Bhāgavatam. So I'll stop here. If anyone has any comments or reflections.
When Ashwatthama released the brahmāstra, you said that the cosmic world will be annihilated, even including the Ashwatthama.
Yes.
So, but he wanted to protect him. He released because he wants to save him. But he released brahmāstra. In that he would have also destroyed. Is it correct what I'm thinking?
Yeah. So it is said that when he was just trying to not serve the wrath of. He did not want to get the wrath of Arjuna. He wanted to get the wrath of brahmāstra. He was willing to get the wrath of brahmāstra, but not the wrath of Arjuna, because he was, and then what Arjuna did, we'll find in the verses when we read that Krishna wanted him to kill Ashwatthama. Arjuna wanted, so what happened when in the next verses we'll read that when Ashwatthama gets caught, so what happens is, Arjuna and Bhima, Krishna and Bhima wanted Arjuna to kill him. But Draupadi, we see that, and Draupadi and Yudhishthira Maharaj, they were very compassionate, and they said, no, don't kill him. He's the son of a Brahmana. So we see here that, just to avoid, he did not think, that's what, Dronacharya gave him a responsibility of such a huge weapon without even thinking. He did not think once that, what will happen. If I die, it's okay. But then the whole cosmic manifestation is dying. And then it's also, I think it's mentioned in the Bhāgavatam as well, that this brahmāstra was also released to kill the child in the womb of Uttara. So Abhimanyu, who was wife and who was husband of Uttara, they had a child in the womb named Parikshit Maharaj. He also released that to kill the child in the womb of Uttara. But yeah.
Is it the same brahmāstra or
That I have to, I'm not sure about that.
this is the same, it is going parallelly or the situation?
Yeah, I think it's because I have also heard this version that when Uttara came to Krishna for help, that, how Arjuna. So, this weapon was released by Ashwathama, was to destroy everyone. So I'm assuming that this was also to destroy, yeah.
Because of that fire.
Fire, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Is that all? Okay. Grantraj Srīmad Bhāgavatam ki, Jagat Guru Srīla Prabhupada ki, Dai Go Premanande. Gaur Bhaktavind ki, Jai.